Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to play another game, starting a new series from the 1977 Red Sox season replay using Strat-o-Matic baseball. Red Sox will take on the Blue Jays in a game from Sunday, April 24th. They did have a couple of days off because of a couple of rainouts here in Toronto, but that will be made up tomorrow, which I believe was originally a scheduled off day. They'll be playing a doubleheader against the Jays. So the Red Sox come in with a 6-5 record. In the actual season, they were 4-7, so we're 2 games ahead of their schedule. They just recently beat the Tigers in a 4-game series, 3-1. So without further ado, let's get this game underway.
Welcome to the stadium for today's ball game.
Alrighty, there's the Canadian National Anthem since we are playing in Toronto. So the Red Sox come in, again, like we said, with a record of 6-5. The Blue Jays, I know, are in last place. I'm not sure their record. They're something like 4-7, I believe. Something like that. 4-10, possibly. I know there's a big difference between the two, but I know they were in last place. So the Blue Jays will send Bill Singer to the hill. Got Bill Singer to the hill. Bill Singer comes in with a 1-2 record. This is the expansion year for the Toronto Blue Jays. 6.75 earned average, 16 innings pitched, 14 hits allowed, 13 walks, and 11 strikeouts. So he's been pretty wild when he's been on the hill, and has allowed 2 home runs. The Red Sox lineup against them is going to be Rick Burleson, the shortstop, will lead it off, followed by Denny Doyle at second. Jim Rice, the DH, hits third. Kyle Yastrzemski, the cleanup hitter, hits fourth. Rice and Yastrzemski went back-to-back in the last game of the series against the Tigers to seal the deal 3-1. George the Boomer Scott hits fifth and will play first. Behind the plate is Carlton Fisk. The right fielder is Dwight Evans batting seventh, batting eighth, the third baseman Butch Hobson, and in center, Rick Miller hitting ninth. So the defense behind Singer, left to right, in the outfield is going to be Woods, Baylor, and Velez. The infield is McKay, Mason, Garcia, and Alt. And behind the plate is Alan Ashby. So the defense behind him, let's see here. The outfield ranges are 4 left below average, left and right, and Baylor in center is above average at 2. The infield, the corners above average and below average, third baseman and first baseman, and the infield up to middle below average with a ranges of 4. Behind the plate, Ashby's average range at 3. Bill Singer is below average range with a +1 hold rating and a pretty high error rating of 48. So the defense not the greatest behind the expansion Blue Jays. So Rick Burleson will lead it off. He comes in hitting .250 with 2 runs batted in. 48 at-bats. Here's the windup and the pitch by Singer. And that's going to be in Burleson's wheelhouse. And that's going to be a sharp base hit. Just past the shortstop. Mason. So, leadoff runner is on. Going to bring up Denny Doyle. Doyle comes in hitting .325 with 3 runs batted in and 40 at-bats. Burleson being held on by Alt. And... oops, apparently we didn't set the defense correctly. So we're going to say that he would throw for the runner. He has a just a 65% chance, so we're going to have him throw. And then we'll adjust that. So it's going to be an error, and Burleson will move to third. So let's see here. Game preferences here. Yeah, so we should have that. Alright, so Burleson will advance to third and credit him with a stolen base, advancing to third on the error by, I believe, was probably Ashby. Yeah, throws in the dirt. Okay. Alright, so runner on third with nobody out for Denny Doyle. Red Sox with opportunity to get on the board early here. And that's going to be off the 6th column. And that's going to be a base hit up the middle. Burleson will trot home. And the Red Sox get on the board first on the RBI single by Denny Doyle. So it'll be Jim Rice. And let's see what Rice can do. Rice will draw the walk. He came in hitting .304 with 4 homers and 10 runs batted in. So runners on first and second. Still nobody out for Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski hitting .163 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. And that's going to be off the 1 column. It's going to be a ground ball back to Singer. Over to second for 1, back to first, not in time. So they'll put runners at the corners on the fielder's choice by Yastrzemski. 1 down. So George Scott up to the plate now. Scott hitting .356, 3 long balls and 8 RBIs in 45 at-bats. Also has 3 doubles and a triple. Runners will get their leads. Yastrzemski being held on at first. He has the windup in the pitch to Scott. And Scott's going to draw the walk, so Singer wild once again. It's going to load the bases with a 1 down. Ashby will go out to talk to Singer, goes back behind the plate. Fisk up to the plate now. Fisk hitting .405 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Looking to add to his RBI total here. And it's going to be off the 6th column. And Fisk will draw the bases out a walk, and that will force in a run. Denny Doyle comes in to score. And it's 2-0 Boston. Bases still loaded for Dwight Evans. Evans hitting .333, 4 homers, 11 runs batted in. Off the 5 column. And that's a much-needed strikeout as Evans goes down swing for out number 2. So the number 8 hitter Hobson up there now. Hobson hitting .262, 4 homers, 13 runs batted in. And it's going to be off the 5 column. And it's going to be a range check on Baylor, who has a range of 2. And it looks like he's going to get to it and make the play. So the Red Sox push 2 across. And it's 2-0 going into the bottom of the first. So Fergie Jenkins on the hill today. It's a bad day here at Exhibition Stadium as the rain was raining earlier, as it has been raining all weekend, and just stopped just before the game time. But the field's still pretty wet. So singles, it's going to be hard to get singles to lefties, especially to lefties and righties, 1-2 and 1-7. And home runs slightly above average there with a 1-12 rating on both doubles and triples. Still a little more higher than average, 106 for doubles and 112 for triples. So, all right, so Bob Baylor to lead it off, and it'll be Baylor in the left center field to leading off, followed by Mason, the shortstop. Woods, the left fielder, will hit third. Ron Fraley is the DH today, batting cleanup. Otto Velez, I believe it's Otto Velez. The right fielder hits 5th. Doug Alt, the first baseman, will hit 6th. Dave McKay, the third baseman, hits 7th. Alan Ashby behind the plate hits 8th, and I think it's Pedro Garcia, the second baseman, hits 9th. So the lineup for Red Sox, pretty standard. Yastrzemski in left, Miller in center, Evans in right. Hobson, Burleson, Doyle, and Scott in the infield, and Fisk behind the plate. Jenkins on the hill has a range of 2, and a hold rating of +2. So Hobson and Scott are in on the grass for Baylor. Baylor does have speed. He comes in with a .333 average and an RBI and 33 at-bats. Jenkins looks in for the sign. He has the windup and the pitch. And it'll be a fly ball to center. And Miller's there to make the catch for the first out of the first. So that brings up, let me look and see who is that. Jim Mason? Yeah, Jim Mason. Jim Mason, the shortstop, up to the plate now. He's hitting .265 with 5 runs batted in and 34 at-bats. Does have 5 doubles on the season. Here's the pitch by Jenkins off the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to Scott. Flips to Jenkins. 2 up and 2 down in the Toronto first. So Al Woods. Left fielder up to the plate now. He's hitting .261 with 2 runs batted in 23 at-bats. And it's off the 2 column, and that's going to be a ground ball to Doyle. And it'll be 4-3 on the putout. And the Blue Jays go in order in the first. So after 1 full, it's 2-0 Boston. So Rick Miller up to the plate. He had one of the, I believe, game 3 of the series against the Tigers. He went 4 for 4. His average is .231 with 4 runs batted in, 26 at-bats. Has a pair of triples. It's off the 2 column, and that's going to be a base hit. Up the middle. Past Garcia. And the Red Sox will have the leadoff runner on once again. So Miller does have some speed. He'll be held on by Alt. The corners will play in McKay and Alt in on the grass against Burleson, who singled and scored. Also has a stolen base last inning. Here's the windup and the pitch, and here's off the 3 column. And that is going to be a fly ball to left. Woods is there, and he'll make the catch as Miller heads back to the bag. So Denny Doyle up there now. He singled and scored. Has an RBI in the first. So Miller gets his lead. Singer looks in for the sign from Ashley. Looks at the runner, kicks and delivers. 3 column. And that's going to be a base hit up the middle. I think we're going to 75% chance. We're going to send him to third. Try to get to third with less than 2 outs. And yeah, the throw will be cut off, holding Doyle at first. And it'll put runners at the corners with 1 down for Jim Rice, who walked his first time up. Pitch by Singer, 6 column. And Rice is going to get a hold of one here. And Baylor just watches it go over his head and out of here. So a 3-run blast by Jim Ed Rice. The Red Sox increase their lead now 5-0. Red Sox would win this game 9-0, the actual game. So they're well on pace to possibly equal that. At least the Red Sox runs anyway. They're a little over halfway there now. So Yastrzemski 0 for 1 up to the plate now. And that's going to be off the 6 column. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. Baylor tracking it. And he'll make the catch. So 2 down now. For the boomer, George Scott walked his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Range check on Mason. He's got a 4 range. And that'll get through for a base hit. So Scott on for the second time. This time via the hit. So Scott being held on by Alt. Fisk up to the plate now. Had a bases loaded walk. Back in the first. 5 column. And this time he's going to get a base hit past Mason. And I think Scott is going to hold, just at 60% chance. He's already in scoring position, so runners on first and second for Evans. See if he can continue the inning. Evans 0 for 1 on the day. And Hartsfield, the manager, comes to visit. I think he's the manager. He's the manager of the pitching coach. I think he's probably the manager. He's going to leave Singer in the game. So here's the windup and the pitch, and it's going to be off the one column. And Evans is going to draw the walk. That's his 4th walk of the day. So that's going to load the bases for Butch Hobson. Let's see if he sticks with Singer. He does. And that'll be off the one column. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. Flips the first, 1-3 on the putout. And no further damage. The Red Sox put up a 3 spot, and it's 5-0 now after 1.5. So Jenkins now with a 5-run lead will face Fraley, Velez, and Alt. Blue Jays went in order back in the first. Fraley hitting .333 with 3 runs batted and 24 at-bats. So lined up in the pitch by Jenkins. That's going to be off the 5 column. That's a fly ball to center. Miller's there and makes the catch for out number 1. So that brings up Otto Velez, I believe. Yeah, Otto Velez, the right fielder. He's a .333 hitter with 3 homers, 8 runs batted. Has been one of the Blue Jays' best hitters so far. He also has 3 doubles. So here's the pitch to Jenkins, by Jenkins. And just like that, Blue Jays are on the board. That's a solo home run for Otto Velez, his 4th of the season. So Blue Jays on the board, 5-1 now. Red Sox with a solo home run by Otto Velez. Doug Alt to the plate now. Alt comes in hitting just .189 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. He's had 53 at-bats, so one of the... I think he played in all the Blue Jays games so far. And that's going to be off the 1 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Burleson's up with it, over to Scott for out number 2. So to bring up Dave McKay. Dave McKay, the 3rd baseman, hitting .250 on the season with 8 runs batted in. 3 column. And it's going to be a strikeout for Jenkins. His 1st of the day. And that'll retire the side. But the Blue Jays get on the board on the solo homer by Otto Velez, the right fielder. And it's now a 5-1 Red Sox lead. So McCain Alt will play in on the grass for Rick Miller, who's singled and scored 1 for 1 on the day. And that's going to be a ground ball to McKay. He's up with it. Over to first. 5-3 on the putout. So top of the order, Burleson will come now. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. And it's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, Mason. And that'll be out number 2. So Denny Doyle, perfect on the day so far. 2 for 2 with an RBI. Bases empty, nobody on. With 2 out. Obviously, bases loaded. Bases empty. Obviously, nobody's on. I meant to say with 2 down. And that's going to be off the 4 column. And it's going to be a base hit past the dive vault. And Doyle will be on for the 3rd time today. So a 2-out base runner for the Red Sox. Doyle will be held on by Alt. Jim Rice hit a 3-run bomb his 1st time up. Singer looks in for the sign, trying to be careful with Rice. Grooves one here, though. And Rice just is frozen and strikes out looking. So Rice got a pitch to hit there, but is unable to pull the trigger. And that'll do it for the Red Sox in the top of the third. So after 2.5, it remains Boston 5, Toronto 1. Jenkins back on the hill. He'll face Ashby, Garcia, and then the top of the order, Baylor. Ashby comes in hitting just 171 in 35 at-bats. And that's going to be a ground ball to Scott. He'll take it to the bag himself for out number 1. So Pedro Garcia, the number 9 hitter, hitting just 175 with an RBI in 57 at-bats. That's going to be off the 2 column. And Garcia is going to have himself a double as it goes between Miller and Yastrzemski all the way to the wall. Round second, and he'll be content with a wall ball double. So runner in scoring position with 1 down for Bob Baylor. Bob Baylor 0 for 1 on the day. 3 column. And that's going to be a base hit. Let's see if they send Garcia. I think we're going to throw for the lead runner. Yastrzemski's up with it. And Garcia will score as the throw comes in. A little bit offline. Baylor decides to hold at first anyways, despite the ball going through to home. So the Blue Jays, with their second run, now a 3-run game on the RBI single by Bob Baylor. So to bring up Mason up to the plate now. Mason 0 for 1 on the day. Baylor being held on by Scott. Here's a windup in the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball to first. Scott's going to be up with it. Throw it second for 1, back to first. And that's going to be a double play. But the Blue Jays do get a run. And it's a 5-2 game after 3 full. So Singer back out on the hill. The Red Sox will send Yastrzemski, Scott, and Fisk. Yastrzemski still looking for his first hit of the day. Off the 5 column. And it's going to be a called 3rd strike. So Yastrzemski is down to start the Red Sox 4th. George Scott up to the plate now. He walked and singled his last time up. And he'll draw another walk. So Scott will reach for the 3rd time today. 1 out base runner for the Red Sox. Scott will be held on. Fisk up to the plate now. 1 for 1 with a bases loaded walk. And that's going to be a range check on McKay. McKay's a 2 range. Gets to it. Oh, it looks like he's going to boot it here. So that's going to allow Fisk to reach. It's in the dirt. Can't come up with it. His throw is in the dirt, sorry. And the first baseman cannot come up with it. And that will put runners on first and second with 1 down. So that'll bring up Evans to the plate. 0 for 1 with a walk. 6 column. And that's going to be another walk for Singer. Wow, so Singer is wild as advertised with 6 walks already today in 3 1/3 innings. So let's see if they stick with him as Hobson comes to the plate. And that it looks like it's going to be it. Manager has seen enough. So that's going to bring up Mike Willis. The Toronto pitcher, he's pitched well so far. In 10 innings, he has an ERA of 0.93 with 2 saves. 8 hits allowed, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. On the actual season, he was 2-6 with 5 saves and a 3.94 earned run average. So the bases loaded. Corners are playing in for Butch Hobson. 0 for 2. Here we go. And that's going to be off the 1 column. And Hobson will take a called 3rd strike. So let's take a look at the scores from around the league. The Royals lead the Mariners 3-0. Oakland leads Chicago 3-1. California blanking Milwaukee 3-0. Baltimore all over Detroit 8-3. And the Yankees ahead of Cleveland 5-1. Oh, and one more. Minnesota leads Texas 6-2. So 2 down now for Rick Miller, who's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Red Sox looking to add to their 3-run lead. That's going to be off the 4 column. And that's going to be a weak ground ball the first. Alt has it. Trots to the bag, and that'll do it. So the Red Sox load the bases but cannot score. And it remains 5-2 after 3.5. So the left fielder Al Woods will lead it off against Jenkins. Here in the home half of the 4th, Jenkins up to 41 pitches. Woods 0 for 1 on the day. And that is going to be a ground ball to Scott. Scott will swipe the glove and retire Woods for out number 1. So fairly 0 for 1 on the day. Ooh, and Jenkins leaves a hanger there. Let's see what happens here. And he's going to get a lot of that one. That'll go to the wall. Miller up with it. But not before Fairley ends up at second with a 1-out double. So that brings up Otto Velez, who homered his first time up. Fairley gets his lead. Jenkins looks in for the sign, looks at the runner, kicks and delivers. And a big strikeout on the breaking ball, on the backdoor breaking ball. And it's 2 down now. So it's up to dugout if the Indians continue for the Blue Jays. 0 for 1 on the day. Trying to keep this a 3-run game. And it's going to be a fly ball to left. Yastrzemski's there. And Jenkins gets out of the mini jam there. So it remains a 5-2 game through 4 innings here in Toronto at Exhibition Stadium. So the Red Sox will send top of the order Burleson, Doyle, and Rice up against Willis here for a second inning of work. Burleson 1 for 3 with a run scored. 3 column. And that finds the strikeout as Burleson goes down on the ball in the dirt. So Denny Doyle having a great day. 3 for 3 with an RBI. Lefty on lefty here. 3 column. And that'll be a ground ball to out. And for the first time today, Denny Doyle is retired. So 2 out in the Red Sox 5th brings up Jim Rice. 1 for 2 with a 3-run homer. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. It'll stay in the park though. And Baylor will make the catch to end the inning. So halfway through, the score remains Boston 5, Toronto 2. Jenkins back out there for his 5th inning of work. He'll face McKay to lead it off. Bottom third of the order, McKay, Ashby, and Garcia. McKay 0 for 1 on the day. Make that 0 for 2 as he'll fly out to Miller in center for the first out of the 5th. That'll bring up Alan Ashby, who's 0 for 1 on the day. And it'll be a ground ball to Scott. He'll take it to the bag himself. And 2 up and 2 down in the Toronto 5th. Pedro Garcia doubled his first time up. And he'll get his 2nd hit of the day. It'll be a base hit in the hole. So Garcia reaches with a 2-out single. He'll be held on by Scott. Bill 1 for 2 with an RBI up to the plate now. Jenkins looks in for the sign, looks at the runner. Here's the kick and delivery. Oh, and that one's going to get away. That's going to be over Miller's head. It's going to go to the wall. Let's see if they send Garcia. They do. We're going to stop the other runners from advancing. So that will score the run. So Baylor with a 2-out RBI double. And it's now a 5-3 game. That'll be up Jim Mason, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Baylor gets his lead off second. And this time it's a fly ball to center, but it's shallower than the last one. And Miller's able to make the catch. So through 5 full, it's Boston 5 and Toronto 3 now. So Boston lead, which was 5 runs back in the second, is now down to 2. See if the Red Sox can add to that lead. Yastrzemski, Scott, and Fisk due up against Willis. Lefty on lefty here. Yastrzemski looking to break out of his slump here. And nope, it's going to be unable to, as he'll fly out to Baylor for the first out of the Red Sox 6th. So Scott 0 for 1 with a pair of, 1 for 1 with a pair of walks. He's been on base all 3 times today. And that'll be a ground ball to Garcia. Garcia, a 2 range at second. And looks like he's going to have a base hit. So Garcia scoops it up. And one throws on 1 bounce to Alt. And Scott will beat it out. So they're going to credit Scott with another single. So a pair of singles and a pair of walks as Scott reaches for the 4th time today. So Fisk 1 for 2 with an RBI. Bases loaded walk. Back in the second. And here's the windup and the pitch. And Fisk is going to go down on strikes. So 2 down in the Red Sox 6th. So see if Dwight Evans can continue the inning. He's 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. And Evans is going to get a hold of one here. And Woods just watches that one go over his head and out. And Evans gets his 5th home run of the season. So a 2-run homer for Dewey Evans. And it's now Red Sox lead back up to 4, 7-3. So some insurance runs for the Red Sox. So Hobson 0 for 3 up to the plate now. Willis looks like he's going to stay in there. And Hobson 0 for 3 will be 0 for 4 now as he grounds out to short. But on the Evans 2-run homer, the Red Sox lead now 7-3. So Jenkins happy about that. He'll come to the mound for his 6th inning of work. Jenkins up to 70 pitches through 5 innings. Woods to lead it off. Woods 0 for 2 on the day. And make that 0 for 3 as he'll ground out to Doyle for the first out of the home half of the 6th. So Fairley 1 for 2 with a double up there now with 1 down. 5 column. Oh, and Fairley's going to get a hold of one here. And nope, that's going to be a foul ball. Next pitch. And he gets a hold of this one. This time it'll stay fair by plenty in center field, straightaway center field. And Ron Fairley has a solo home run. So the 2nd home run given up by Jenkins today, I believe. First one by Velez. Is he still in the lineup? Yeah, he's up there now. So Ron Fairley makes it a 7-4 game now. So he gets one of the runs the Red Sox scored in the top of the inning back. So Velez 1 for 2 with a homer. See if Zimmer's going to stay with Jenkins. He does. Here's the windup and the pitch. And that'll be a fly ball to center. Miller going back. Has room and makes the catch for out number 2. Alright. So two outs now. For Doug Alt 0 for 2. And Jenkins will get his 3rd strikeout of the day. And that will do it for the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays get 1 back, and it's 7-4 as we head to the 7th. All right, so it'll be Miller, Burleson, and Doyle up for the Red Sox. If anybody gets on Rice, Miller 1 for 3 with the runs scored. McKay and Alt in on the grass. And Alt, who's playing in on the grass, has a reaction play there and makes the catch for out number 1. Burleson 1 for 4 with a run scored. 2 column. And that's a ground ball to Garcia. He's up with it over to Alt for out number 2. So 3-run lead for the Red Sox. Denny Doyle, 3 for 4 with an RBI. He'll ground to his counterpart. And the Red Sox will go in order in the top of the 7th. So 7th inning stretch time here at Exhibition Stadium. Trivia question. In 1966, Sandy Koufax posted his greatest number of victories. How many? So lock in your answers. All right, so how many wins? I'm going to say 27. It was 27. I think it said, it's behind my counter here, so I think it said 27 though. Yep, 27. One more than his previous personal record. So Sandy Koufax, 27 wins in 1966. Alrighty, so the two Blue Jays will send the bottom third of the order against Jenkins here in the 7th. McKay, Ashby, and Garcia. McKay 0 for 2 on the day. And it looks like they're going to send up a pinch hitter. Is it Sam Ewing? I think it's Sam Ewing. Sam Ewing, the lefty. Ewing hitting .286 with 3 runs batted in 21 at-bats. Here's the lineup in the pitch by Jenkins. Oh, and just misses one there. As Scott's able to get to it. Feeds to Jenkins. Oh, I'm sorry, it's looks like Jenkins is going to come up with it over to Scott, sorry. 1-3, not 3-1. So 1 down now in the Blue Jays 7th. Brings up Ashby 0 for 2. And this time it'll be a ground ball to first. Scott charges it. Fires over to Jenkins covering. And 2 up and 2 down in the Blue Jays 7th. So that'll bring up Garcia. He's 2 for 2 with a double. And surprisingly, they're going to bring in a pinch hitter despite being 2 for 2. So Bowling. So Steve Bowling. Or Bowling. 250 hitter with 2 runs batted in 20 at-bats. And that'll be a ground ball to Doyle. Range check. Gets to it. And is able to make the play. So the Blue Jays go in order in the 7th. So we'll head to the 8th here in Toronto with the Red Sox leading 7-4. So Rice to lead it off. Rice is 1 for 3 with a homer. Willis back out on the hill for the Blue Jays, eating up a lot of innings. And that's going to be a base hit for Rice. And he gets his 2nd hit of the day. So Rice will be held on by Alt. Yastrzemski looking for his first hit of the day. Average down to 149. And it's going to plummet even further as Yastrzemski will ground out to first. They'll throw to 2nd for 1. Back to first, not in time. So Yastrzemski's on the fielder's choice. 1 down here in the Red Sox 8th. So Scott, perfect on the day, 2 for 2 with, I think, 2 walks. And will he be retired this time? It's going to be a range check on the Ashby. Ooh, and this might drop in. Oh, it's going to be a pass ball, sorry. So pass ball. And Yastrzemski will move into scoring position. Scott with an RBI opportunity here. And Scott remains perfect as it hits a single past Alt. The Red Sox, Yastrzemski being waved around third. And will score easily as the throw is cut off. So George Scott remains perfect. Has 3 singles and 2 walks on the day. And now an RBI. So the Red Sox lead back up to 4 now. Fisk 1 for 3 with an RBI. Scott gets his lead at first. And that's a ground ball to short over the second with 1. Back to first. Not in time, so Fisk will reach on the fielder's choice. Fisk just missed this pitch there. So Evans 1 for 2 with a homer. Ground ball to short. Gets to it. Over to first. To retire the side. So the Red Sox tack on a run. It's now 8-4 as we head to the home half of the 8th. Jenkins back out there again. Jenkins up to 80, looks like 90 pitches. Jenkins is a workhorse, so Bill at 2 for 3 with a double. Ground ball to third. Hobson fields it cleanly. Over to Scott for out number 1. So Mason looking for his first hit of the day. Will not get it, as it's going to be a ground ball to the mound. Jenkins fields it. Throws over to Scott. 2 up and 2 down in the Toronto 8th. So to bring in Al Woods. Al Woods hitless on the day. 0 for 3. And he'll remain hitless as he'll ground out to Scott. Flips the Jenkins covering, and the Blue Jays go 1-2-3 in the 8th. So we'll head to the 9th with the Red Sox doubling up on the Blue Jays 8-4. So Hobson is 0 for 4, despite the Red Sox having 12 hits. Hobson not taking advantage of getting a hit, and it looks like he will not do it here, as he'll go 0 for 5 to most likely end his day. Center man of Rick Miller is 1 for 4 with a run scored. Willis still out there. And as I say that, Vukovic is going to come on. So is that Pete Vukovic? Yeah, the veteran Pete Vukovic. So Vukovic has pitched 11 innings in 1977 so far, with a 1.64 earned run average and 9 hits allowed, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts. For the actual season, he was 7-7 with 8 saves and a 3.47 earned run average. Corners are in for Miller. Here's the windup and the pitch by the righty. And it's going to be a called third strike. So 2 down in the Red Sox 9th. So let's take a look at some scores here. Looks like we have some finals here. So Yankees beat Cleveland 6-4. Thurman Munson hits his 3rd home run for the Yankees. Baltimore clobbered Detroit 15-3. California shut out Milwaukee 10-0. Oakland squeezed by Chicago 7-6. Kansas City also shutting out Seattle 9-0. Mayberry hit his 4th home run for Kansas City. Minnesota makes it by Texas 6-4 as Henderson hits his 1st home run for Texas. And here in Boston, it's here in Toronto, it's 8-4 Boston. All right, so 2 down now for the Rooster, Rick Burleson, 1 for 5 with a run scored. Here's the pitch by Vukovic, and it's going to be a ground ball to second. And that will do it for the Red Sox in the top of the 9th. So Toronto's last hope here. They'll send Fairley, Velez, and Alt. 2 of 3 batters have hit home runs off Jenkins so far. So it looks like Jenkins is going back out there to try to close it off. Jenkins, looking to get the complete game, has pitched 100 pitches already. So Fairley 2 for 3 with a solo home run. Up to the plate now. And he'll ground to Burleson at short. And he'll be retired for out number 1. So Otto Velez got Toronto's scoring started with a solo home run back in the second inning. 1 for 3 on the day. Here's the pitch by Jenkins. This could be trouble. Miller's on the run, and he'll make a nice running catch. So Blue Jays down to the last out. Doug Alt, let's see if he's going to bat for himself. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He will. And it's going to be off the 3 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. That should do it. To third, sorry. Hobson with it. Over to first. And Toronto goes harmlessly in the 9th. So the Red Sox will win the game, beat the Blue Jays by a score of 8-4. So let's take a look at the box score. For the Red Sox, Fergie Jenkins pitches a complete game, evens his record to 2-2 now. Goes 9 innings, allowing 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Does not walk a batter, strikes out 3, and surrendered 2 solo home runs to Fairley and Velez. So Bill Singer takes the loss. He's 1-3 now on the season, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 5 runs, all of them earned. Walks 6 batters, striking out 3, and allowed a home run to Grice, a 3-run homer. So Willis is the workhorse of the day for the Blue Jays. He pitches 5 innings, allowing 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts, allowing a home run also, I believe, to Evans. And Vukovic comes in and pitches the last 2/3 of an inning, striking out 1 batter. So the offense for the Red Sox, Jim Rice goes 2 for 4 with a run scored and 3 runs batted in, a 3-run homer. Average up to 320 now. Denny Doyle continues his hot hitting. He's 3 for 5, 2 runs scored and an RBI. Average now up to 356. Yastrzemski continues to struggle, going 0 for 5 with a run scored. Average down to 146. George Scott had a good day, 3 for 3 with a pair of walks. Average up to 396. And Carlton Fisk's average falls to 390 after going 1 for 4 with an RBI. Dwight Evans hit a home run, going 1 for 3. Average 333. So for the Blue Jays, I think their hitting star is going to be Ron Fairley, who went 2 for 4 with a solo home run. Otto Velez also added a solo home run himself. So Blue Jays managing just 7 hits on the day. The Red Sox getting 12. So player of the game, I think we're going to give to Jim Rice. Again, 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer. So here's the rest of the box score. So Jim Rice's home run was his 5th. Evans hit his 5th. And Fairley hit his 1st. And Otto Velez for the Blue Jays hit his 4th.
Team yearbooks, minutes, and programs.
Alright, so there's the box score. So the Red Sox improve their record now to, I believe, 7-5. So we'll take a look at the league stats now. Standings. So Baltimore's still in first with a record of 9-3. Red Sox now close to within 2. 7-5 on the in the replay so far. They were actually the opposite of that, 5-7. So still 2 games ahead of their pace. Cleveland in third at 7-6. Doing much better than their 4-9 record at this time. Yankees 8-7. Milwaukee 6-7. Detroit 6-10. And Toronto, 4-10, which I thought 4-11 now. behind their pace. They were 7-8 at this time in this season, in the actual season. So the Kansas City Royals are in first. Have leapfrogged the White Sox into first. Are 11-4. Chicago has played one less game, 10-4, with a half game behind the Royals. Very tight, as Minnesota is 11-6, one game behind the league leader. California 9-8, Oakland 6-10, Texas 5-9, and Seattle in the basement at 5-14. So those are your standings there. So join us tomorrow when the Red Sox will face the Blue Jays in a doubleheader because of the rain out on Friday and Saturday. So let's take a look and see who the pitchers are going to be. In game one of the doubleheader, it's going to be Luis Tiant, for the Red Sox against Jerry Garvin for the Blue Jays in game one. And then in game two, you can click on it. In the Blue Jays, the Red Sox will send Bob Stanley getting it. He was good in his first start. Bob Stanley to the hill against Dave Lemanzik for the Blue Jays. So thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming, and we'll see you for game number 13 and 14. Probably we may do those together, possibly tomorrow. We'll see. If not, we may do just both of them, just both in separate recordings tomorrow. We'll see. Depends upon how long it takes. So take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next replay. Bye-bye now.